Performing a mail merge, one of the longest lessons in all of Microsoft, really, because there's a series of steps. A mail merge is when you combine a list, a data list, could be clients, could be employees, and you combine that list with the letter that you're going to type. So what it does is it allows you to type a letter and have the list of names drop into your letter, and then whatever amount of names you have on your list, that's how many letters Word will give you, one for each person, personalized, and then allows you to print those out, stuff them in an envelope, and send them to each individual person. So that's what a mail merge is. So you're merging the document you're typing with a document that exists with all the names on it. Typically, the document already exists. You've got a table with all your names on there. We call that a database. A database is usually stored in a program called Access. You can also create a database in Excel and do a very nice job with it. You can also create a simple table in Word, and that could serve as your database. Here's an example here. Now, if you're going to do it in Word or Excel, be sure that your first row has the labels that identify what's going to be in the column below. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So nothing extra, nothing fancy. This here, we just ran out of room and it merged, it went onto the next line. So there's no enters, there's no nothing. So the first row has to be simply the titles that identify what's going to be in that column. And after that, you put your data in. So if you're going to do it in Word, that's fine. Create it, save it, and close it before you start your mail merge. So let's just assume I just typed all this stuff in, it's ready to go. I would close this document before I start my mail merge. And if I've got my document in Access or Excel, I would also close it so that it's not around when I start my mail merge. Now, when you're ready to start your mail merge, you go to Mailings. I strongly recommend from there you go to Start Mail Merge and go step-by-step Mail Merge Wizard. The wizard will guide you through the 6 steps you need to perform this properly. Now, we're going to be focusing on letters. We're going to type the main letter. You can also, in another lesson, we're going to do labels, whereas you can create a whole bunch of labels for all those people and print out in one job. You'll print out all the labels for each person that's on your list, and then you simply stick the labels onto the envelopes. But for now, we're going to stick with letter. So that's step 1. I'm going to do a letter. Step 2. Which document do you want to use? If you're typing it from scratch, you're going to use the current document. In the real world, if we're sending out documents, it's usually on a regular basis. So maybe a monthly bill or a yearly reminder. Okay, so oftentimes we'll be using the same letter over and over, in which case we'd say open an existing document. In this case, we'll start it from scratch, so we'll use this document. So that's step 2. Now it's asking you to select the recipients. This is where you go find the document in which you have your people listed. So I'm going to hit Browse, and you of course need to know where it is. Mine happens to be here, and it happens to be here. I put them in data files in Word, and I'm using this document here. And when you hit Open, it's going to give you a preview of the people that you're going to have on the list. Now, to keep this lesson brief, I'm not going to get into detail. However, you'd be able to sort this in alphabetical order so that it would be sorted by last name or first name or whatever. And so by clicking here, I can sort by last name. So when this gets printed out, it'll be sorted by last name. Filter would allow you to filter out certain people. So if you're sending, let's say, a notice to people who haven't paid you in the last month, you'll be able to filter out the people who have paid you. And that way the only people that are going to get a printout for are the people who haven't paid you in the last month. So all kinds of options for filtering. We'll learn more about filtering in another application called Access. But for now, we're going to assume we're going to send everybody one of these letters. So we're going to hit OK. So that's already step 3. And now we're ready to go to step 4, where we actually start typing our letter. Now here we would probably put our company name and address and all that stuff. So I'm just making up information just to keep it nice and simple here. And next you probably start with Dear, or you'd have all that person's information. we call that an address block. So I can come here and say, I want the address block. So it's giving you a preview of what the first person is going to look like. So this is looking pretty good. So I'll say yes, put that entire address block in there for everybody. So I'm going to hit OK. Now, it's not showing the entire address block. It's simply showing you the words address block, which is fine. So now I'm going to hit enter twice to give me some space, and then I can start typing my letter. I can say dear. And now here, if you want to put the person's first name or full name or whatever, you can choose it from here. So I can say first name. I can insert that. And then I can insert the last name as well if I wanted to. So I have dear, first name, last name. And now I can close this. What it didn't allow me to do, it didn't allow me to put a space in there. So I'm going to have to come back and manually put in a space there. I've got my show hide on for a reason so that I can see what I'm doing here. So dear, first name, last name. Then enter, enter. Just a reminder that you owe us money. Now it's quite possible that the database that you had would have had the amount that you owed them. So rather than type us the word money here, we go to more items and we choose the actual dollar amount that they owed us, and that would be very handy. But I'm going to keep it general here that you owe us money. Please pay up or else. Looking forward to getting your money, comma, and you can even put their first name in again here, and then close. And then you can sincerely not very professional, but I just want to keep this brief. Okay, so now I'm ready for the next step where they allow you to preview your letters. So this is your first person's letter, and you'll see I had to put that space in there because it didn't allow me. In the address block, it put in the spaces for me. And here, looking forward to getting your money, Juliana. Now, if I want to scroll through the recipients, I can see all the recipients and what their letter is going to look like. So right now, this is looking really good. So the last step is complete the merge. Now, in the real world, you have two choices. One is go ahead and print them. So you'd send this to the printer. The other is edit individual letters. I don't know why they called it this. This is kind of like save this into one big document. So I would say, sure. So it says right here, merge to new document. That's what this button should say, merge to new document. In other words, give me a brand new document that's got the result of all this stuff. So I hit OK. And whatever amount of people you had on your list, that's the amount of pages you're going to have. So each person gets their own list. This is the way it would have looked had you printed it. So now you can check it. I like to do this because I'll scroll through to make sure they all look okay, and then I'll print it from here. Now, you of course have a choice whether or not you want to save this, all right? But this is the final document. So now you've got two documents open. I've got the original where I performed my 6 steps of my merge, and then I've got this one which is the result of the 6 steps of my merge.